Hello, my friends. David Burns, pumped and excited to be out in the bee yard today. Look at these bees, man. They're going. We're going to get in this hive, me and you together. We're going to just explore and see if they got some queen cells. That's what I'm worried about. Right now, they're bringing in a lot of pollen this morning. And we're going to take a look. This is our first time to look at this hive after winter. So it'd be an exploration for both of us. Let's get in there and see what's up. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is take off the feeder. I've been feeding them for a long time, probably for, I guess, close to a month now. And many of you probably have purchased my feeder as well. I'm going to show you what it looks like. I created this feeder and it works really good. Look at that. And I stopped feeding them once I started seeing dandelions. So these are the jars. I think I've filled them up 2 or 3 times. Got little holes in them. And you can see the bees working down in there. These feeder jars have my feeding additive in it, and you can see where some of the pollen and my additives are showing on the side of it. Gonna look at this hive. It's a not a bad day. The wind's starting to pick up back here where I've been moving some of my hives. I'm gonna hopefully move them all back here this week. I got a little berm here to shelter me from a south wind. For those of you brand new to beekeeping, I like to smoke the bees from the top when I first open them up, kind of settle them down. There'll be bees on the underside of this feeder. Let me show you. See that? So I'm just going to take and knock them down by tapping this. Some of you may still need to use those. All right, here we go. This is 2 deeps and a super, medium super here. And what usually happens for me, these had my winter bee kinds on them all year. And so what I usually find that happens is that I have brood up in here. Yeah, so we're going to smoke it and start lifting up some frames and see what it looks like. They are bringing in all colors of pollen: red, white, orange. April the 14th, which is a little bit early here in Illinois, but you know, it's warming up sooner than normal, isn't it? For all of us, I think. What happens, this propolis is usually pretty sticky because it's only just about 65 degrees Fahrenheit right now. So the propolis is still pretty tight. And so we're going to just try not to break any frames on our first inspection. There's some pollen, red pollen up in here. All right, so if you see pollen up in here, yeah, a lot of bees have pollen on their back legs. What does that mean for this super? It means it has brood in it, right? They're carrying pollen all the way up here. So we got brood, which is par for the course for me. I like a lot of brood. All I do is I put a queen excluder under this one and the brood will emerge and they'll start using it as a honey super. All right, so let's get these frames separated. Yeah, it's not too stuck together. Look at that propolis, it's how sticky it is. Using my J-hook hive tool to pry up this one closest to the wall. Get a grip underneath that one. We'll pull up this one. Not many bees are usually over here. That's why I like to pull this one up first. Look at that beautiful frame, capped over honey from last year. Yep. So we'll set this outside the hive just for a moment. And then that'll give us room, see, to pull all these other ones toward me and not have to kill any bees by pulling up a frame close to another frame. So we take our hive tool, pry this edge up, loosen it, do the same over here. Now we can lift it up. Notice where I put my hive tool when I'm working. Let's say I just lifted this side up over here with my hive tool. Watch where my hive tool goes. Right in my hand like that. And I still have my 2 fingers to work like this. If you wonder where to put the hive tool. Oh, look at that. Frame of honey. Beautiful. Yep, stored honey. So I fed them all winter long. So they probably didn't have to eat much of that stored honey up there. Ha ha. And now they have it to do something with this winter. Or this spring to start building up. Another frame of honey. We have a lot more to look at in this hive. I just want to pop in here and say, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you like this video. Leave a comment below. It helps my video make it around to more beekeepers to help them out. I suspect we get in the middle, we'll see more. Oh yeah, this is very lightweight. All right, look at that. Oh, this is a beautiful frame of pollen. If you, by the way, if you want to look at that up close, and you can see a lot of the bees walking around with pollen on their hind legs. I'm not sure how close it'll focus. If you notice here, what I see, maybe some of you are new and don't see this, but I see frames that I see cells that are open and ready for the queen to lay in, but there's no eggs. So I might be a little concerned, why isn't she laying in those prepared cells? So right now I just put that in my memory bank and I say, there was a place for bees, for the queen to lay, and she wasn't laying. I'm moderately concerned. So I have to see eggs before I know I'm out of the woods. Another light frame with brood on it. Anytime it's light like that, we know it's good. Aha, I see beautiful eggs. And I know some of you tell me that it's very difficult for you to see eggs on my frames. My camera doesn't do it justice. Let me play around and see if I can get it a little bit closer, hold it just right. Do you see the eggs? I'll move it back. Yeah. Anyway, there's cells of eggs in there. That means you can tell how long ago the queen was there. So I'm going to look. The eggs are laying down on the bottom or the back of the cells. So she was there about 1.5 to 2 days ago. Look at that. You can see here's a drone. Mostly workers. There's a big drone right there. And this is capped over brood right here. Yep, up in the super. And again, I'm going to leave that there. Put a queen excluder under it, move the queen down, and then that way I can turn this back into a honey super. There's a beautiful back leg of green pollen right there. That's beautiful. The spring is a time where bees really bring in a lot of pollen. It's amazing. All right, another very light frame. Yep. Brood in various stages. While I'm looking at the brood, I'm looking for any signs of, you guessed it. Oh, maybe you didn't guess it. Let's see if you can guess. What am I looking for that I'm afraid of? That I'm fearful. I want to make sure I don't have it. It's European foul brood. I don't want European foul brood, so I'm making sure when I look at larvae that it's healthy and pearly white. Not seeing the queen on these frames, I'm looking carefully. Yep. And you can see here more cells with larvae in it. They look healthy, and I see frames with eggs. And you can probably see drones, workers, everything's going on in there. It's amazing, isn't it? All right, let's take a look at the next frame. Let's smoke. You need to smoke about every 2 or 3 frames, just a gentle light blast of smoke, and that keeps the bees calm while you work them. If you forget and go too long, well, the bees could be defensive. Now, I like to inspect my hives in about 12 minutes when I'm not filming, but when I'm filming, it takes longer because I'm explaining things and I'm going slow for your benefit. Those of you that are brand new to beekeeping and maybe you haven't even started yet, look down here. You see some drone brood right here at the bottom. I'll bring it closer. Do you see that? And that drone brood is usually at the lower. That's not queen cells. We're looking for queen cells, but I don't see any yet. But that's just a little bit of drone brood at the bottom. More eggs, more larvae, looks good. Haven't spotted my queen yet. I do see more drones. For those of you that think you see the queen, that's a drone, that's a drone. There are just a lot of drones in here. The male honeybee, he's a little bit bigger. And some people confuse a queen with a drone. Everything looks good. Again, just want to show you this drone brood at the bottom and how those are not queen cells. You see that? I hope that's getting into the camera focus good. At the bottom there, that's just drone brood, not queen cells, because they're horizontal, not vertical. Queen cells are always going to be vertical, up and down. Well, we're going to run out of brood here, I think. Getting near the wall over here, that's going to be more honey. We might have one more frame of brood. Let's take a look. Good to be with you guys today. I hope you're enjoying this inspection after winter. What to look for. All right, look at this. Always a surprise what you see, right? So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to walk over closer to my camera. Maybe I'll just use this camera right here. So what do we have right here? Something that happens in the spring. And we need what? Drones, don't we? Look at that. Bunch of drone brood right there. Bees are having to make drone brood. Look at this purple-eyed pupae right here of a drone. Drone cells. I broke that open, lifting the frame up. So they're raising drones to mate with virgin queens. Not their own queen, should they raise one, but for other hives. More of the same here. So what we're going to do here, now that we've inspected this, we're going to remove it and go deeper into the next deep, see what's going on down there. We're looking specifically for no European foul brood, and we're looking for queen cells and just how crowded this hive is so that we might consider making a split. Is it time to make a split? Oh, good question. Indeed it is. It's not only time to do it, but this hive probably needs it done. If they don't split, they're going to split. If I don't split them, they're going to split. All right, here we go. Looking across for any queen, looking at cells. Beautiful frame of pollen again. See the different color pollen. A little bit of honey there at the top. You might see some bees with their back legs full of pollen. I want to make sure that my queen isn't up here. I might have missed her. Look at that frame of pollen in the middle. They're already bringing in the spring. Fresh new pollen is going to make this hive pop in population because that's what they need to eat in order to really build up the brood. Pollen, carbohydrates. Pollen is protein, and all the nectar they're bringing in is carbohydrates. They eat basically the same thing we do, minus McDonald's. Oh, big drawn out frame there. And I don't see any eggs in it, but that's one they could pack full of honey for sure. Look at that. It's rare to find the queen all the way over here. See a lot of that green pollen on there? That's from oak trees this time of the year. All right, so let's put everything back together. Now, if you notice, this is a technique I've explained before a few times. Some people freak out about it. Oh, look at that pollen right there that's green. See right there, some green colored pollen. Look at that. 2 shades of green, actually. Isn't that amazing? It fell off when I turned the frame up. You can see kind of some sprinkles of pollen across different frames there. Yeah, look at that. Here's an orange piece of pollen. It's pretty cool, I think. Oh, I'm looking over here, so let's go back this way. Look at that right there. There's several different colors, orange, green, a couple of big green blobs there, big blob of propolis right there. Very educational video for you guys, isn't it? What I was saying is, we have this frame that we took out that was against the wall, and it had some honey on it. See that? Now, we could take the time to move all of these frames and put this back where it is over here, where it's supposed to go. But it's not going to hurt a thing for me to make a little frame manipulation. So I'm going to take this one that has comb on it, nothing in it, and I'm going to push that against the wall because there's nothing in there. It's just an empty frame of drawn out comb that is now going to be against that wall, see? And then what I'll do, it makes it easy for me and the bees, less manipulation. I got honey on one side, empty on the other. I'm going to put the honey facing the center of the hive. And now that's just storage. So in other words, if some of you start questioning whether that's a wise decision not to put frames back where they go, let me just remind you what I'm doing is basically we have brood here, resources here, resources there. Instead of just putting that frame of resource back over here, I put it over there because there's plenty around. It just, look at that. I didn't have to move frames again, possibly killing my queen or killing bees. I'm just going to move all the frames toward the middle now by putting pressure on these frames out here because you want your extra space to be against the wall. You don't want gaps in your frames or they're going to build out wonky comb or do something funny. Okay. Now here we have 3 bees right there that are working on a grain of pollen. They're eating it. Looks like they're just enjoying a meal. Look at that. So what we're going to do now is smoke them. We're going to take this top super off, and I think I'll set it over here out of the way for now. Yeah, it's going to be my best bet. I got so much camera gear in the way. I don't have a lot of space to move all of these boxes and such. Now we're going to go ahead and smoke between the boxes. And that will help calm the bees as we expose light into the brood nest area. All right, this is going to be moderately heavy. Let's see. Not too bad. I'm going to set it right over here. Very good. All right, now we're into the first top deep that overwintered. Let me pop in here real quick and say we got a lot more to look at, but I want to encourage you guys to join me for my live stream. It's one of my most favorite days of the week. Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Time. Hope you'll join me. Let's keep looking in this hive. This is a heavy frame, so it's got some honey on it. Look at that. Some open brood at the bottom, but nothing on it. Open brood at the bottom and nothing on it. We're going to set that aside just for a second. We would love to see more brood. We'd like to see kept over pupae, eggs and larvae, healthy larvae, and no queen cells. That'll give us a little bit more time to work this hive, maybe split them. All right. Frame of pollen. I don't see the queen. I don't see any eggs in the middle here. We have seen eggs, so we know the queen is laying well. Okay, but no significant brood on that frame. Keep these bees calm with some gentle smoke across the top. All right. And this is the top deep, in case you missed it. This is April the 14th. Ooh, this is very lightweight. Gonna have some brood. Okay. Got some drone brood at the bottom. Got some drones walking around. Not really seeing any eggs or larvae or brood on this frame. No eggs, larvae, or brood on that frame. Getting a little bit closer now to the center where we might see a little more brood activity. Most brood is in the center area here this time of the year. Oh yeah, okay. Not a very solid brood pattern, but there it is. So we'll take a look and evaluate. We will decide if that spotty brood pattern is just coming into spring, a spring thing, or if it's a queen thing. If it's a queen thing, we'll replace our queen. On the other side, we have similarly some brood like we saw in the super, some drone brood over here. Designated drone brood. You can see they're actually spending some time raising brood. That's a sign of a healthy colony when they're able to raise drone brood. let's do the same thing we did on the super. Let's bring our frames closer. Let's get this frame set. It's about right there. And these frames are ready to be not moved again. All right, let's smoke again. Loosening up the propolis between frames by twisting it, and then using the J-hook to actually lift it on both ends so we can know that it's free to come up. All right, let's take a look. A little more weight to this one. A little better cap brood. Yep, not bad. All right, let's see. Probably won't see the queen on this one. It's a frame of cap brood. She's not able to lay. Nothing's prepared for her to lay in. All right, a lot better brood pattern over here. Look at that. And by a better brood pattern, we're meaning, you know, more solid, more capped over, not as many holes. And again, this doesn't bother me this time of the year. I mean, you know, it's just good to have a hive that comes through the winter, right? But anyway, yeah, that's a lot of brood. Let's look at the next one. No queen cells, not even any queen cells that are started, not even any cups. So that gives me more time. I'm glad to see that. I was worried about all my hives overwintering like this and how they might be ready to swarm, but I don't even see the start of queen cells. This one could prove me wrong. Nope, no queen cells on the bottom. You would see queen cells usually on the lower half of the frame down in this area, and we just aren't seeing those. Yeah, okay, I'm looking for eggs, larvae, pupae, and I'm seeing all three here. And this is a place where I'm going to inspect, make sure that my brood is healthy and no sign of European foul brood. I'm going to hold this up to the sun and make sure it's all pearly white. Oh, it is. I'll try to show you right here some pearly white larvae in the top. It's going to be hard on the camera, I realize that. Doing my best here to help you guys out. But anyway, you just want it to be pearly white. I've shown you so many images of healthy larvae. Watch my older videos and you'll see that. Now, a lot of times we might think that this frame has spotty brood on it. But if you notice right up in here, it technically is not spotty brood because, look at that, it's got a lot of larvae in there. There's a place that bees are being raised. They're in different stages and they look healthy. Absolutely no swarm cells. Phew. And the good thing is, I need more time. I'm not ready to, you know, you've heard me say I don't like to split and see swarming or splitting my hives until deep into the end of April or even in the first part of May. That's when they usually swarm on their own in Illinois here. So I don't want to make a split. We're not even in the middle of April yet, and I've had snow in May. So yeah, I'm kind of glad not to see any queen cells. All right, see how they just started coming up really fast? That's when I just freeze and slow down, drop the frame back down, slow motion, reach for the smoker, go really slow and smoke. There we go. If you didn't do that, they're going to keep being a little more defensive each time. So that helped us out a lot. Slow motion now. So the bees are telling us we need to work in slow motion. All right, pretty good cap brood. Not a bad pattern there. I mean, this is coming out of winter. We've got a little bit of everything, people. We've got pollen being put in frames, back legs of bees, brood, eggs, larvae, everywhere. It's just good to see. Slow motion. Remember, here's what slow motion looks like. If they show a little sign of being a little defensive, start working in slow motion. And use your smoker a little bit more. Smoke doesn't hurt bees. Some people say smoke causes them to gorge on honey, and then they can't sting you when they're full of honey. That's not true at all. Both of those are not true. Watch, smoke a bee, see if it eats honey. Nope, it didn't eat any honey. It just got smoked and moved. But Smoke actually clogs up their antenna, and that's how they communicate. Well, I got a bee up in my bonnet. I got a hole. I've had this suit for so many years. Last year I was going to buy a new suit and I didn't. And I've got a hole in the back of it. And bees get in my hat. I got one in here with me now, walking around on my face. I'm going to try to ignore that bee in my bonnet. All right, a little heavier frame here. Let's see if I can get a better grip on it. There we go. All right. Yep, better brood. Getting a little more solid brood pattern. No queen cells. Looking for the queen, maybe. Okay, and you can see, I'll use my finger, and you can see the more solid brood pattern right there. Looking really good. Yep, let's look at the brood pattern again here. Yep, this looks good. These bees have really been so nice to let me work them this long. Again, I work bees at about, I don't like to have a hive open more than 12 minutes when I'm just doing a regular inspection without all the cameras rolling. But when I'm making videos for you guys, I just like to educate you and point out a bunch of things, and shoot, we'll have a hive open for an hour sometimes, which is way too long. Really. It doesn't hurt the bees, but it just is a risk of the bees becoming a little more defensive, a little more ticked off that, hey, we're working here. What are you doing? Yeah, I can see that a little bit in how flighty they're getting. All right. Frame ready for eggs. No queen cells. We would have had queen cells if this hive was ready to swarm. So likely our queen is down in the lower deep, which a lot of people say she doesn't go down there, but obviously that's where she is. We're done looking. All right, so we got one frame on, leaning up against the side of the hive, which is fine. Slow motion. Got to go slower the longer you have a hive open, because the bees are a tiny bit more defensive. We drop back to level off all the frames over here. I brought all the equipment out to do a split. If I saw swarm cells, I've got queen cages on me to harvest queen cells, but nothing, which is great. All right, so let's keep leveling off these frames. We're getting them tight against each other on the side of the frames, the frame rest area. Okay, the side of frames. There we go. Good. All right, so now we put our frame that we took out over here without having to move all those frames again. We're going to slide it right over here. And that'll be fine, because it's simply a frame of honey. Oh, my first small hive beetle. Oh, right there. Gonna get it. Oh, yeah, I got it. One small hive beetle in the whole hive. Very good. That's exciting. It's exciting to start the year not seeing a hive full of small hive beetle. All right, very good. Now we're going to put our honey super back on. But I do want to put my queen excluder right here so that we can get brood out of my super. Found a queen excluder, but look at that. It's kind of gunked up from last year, isn't it? All right, let's smoke these bees. I took a second to go get a queen excluder, and they kind of all got back up here at the top, so let's work them back down. And we need to get them off the box so we can put the other super back on. And move them around a little bit. Okay, so here we go. I knocked out quite a bit of the wax and stuff that was in this queen excluder. So I'm going to talk to you about this. We're going to put this queen excluder here because I feel like the queen is not up in my honey super. So let's go ahead and put the honey super on top of this queen excluder. Let's smoke them again. I'll smoke my super over here. So we'll just go ahead and grab the honey super. Ah, I got some stuff stuck to the bottom of it. A bee brush and a piece of smoker fuel burlap. All right, there we go. Coming in for a landing. Perfect. All right, so I'll tell you my thoughts on this. By putting the queen excluder under this honey super they overwintered with, in case we miss the queen and she is indeed up in this honey super, I'm going to drop back, in the next 10 days, no more than 10 days. I'll come back 10 days from now and I will only look at this particular super. And I'm going to be looking for eggs. That's right. Because if the queen is up there, she's laying eggs. I don't have to find her. A lot of bees up there. But I'm going to look, did what we did today. I'm going to pull frames up and see if there's eggs up here. If there's eggs up here, I know where my queen is. If there's no eggs, and maybe there's, in 10 days, there shouldn't be any larvae. It should all be capped over pupae. That will tell me, good. I don't have to worry about the queen being up here. She's down there. One thing that may surprise you is, I said earlier I wasn't going to do this, but I decided to do it. I'm going to put the feeder system back on. Why am I doing that? Because I don't know what the future holds. What if we get a real rainy season? You know, what if the weather turns, I don't know, cold or whatever, and they need fed, you know, if it's above 50 degrees Fahrenheit in the daytime, I can feed them here. So I'm going to leave this on just in case I do need to drop back and start feeding them some one-to-one sugar. So, but right now I don't need to. So I'm just going to take my honey jars. They're empty. Move along, little bee. I don't want to hurt you. There we go. And these are available if you still need to feed your bees this spring. You can check out our website. All right. And then I'm going to put this box on there. This protects the bees. And then I put my top cover on there. This keeps everything out of my feeding area. And then for the big spring storms that roll through and make a lot of wind, I'm going to put this heavy block on top. That was a fun hive to be in. If you want to watch another fun video where I teach you guys about what you should be doing in the spring, whether you're new, starting out, or whether you're overwintering like we just did, check out this video right here. I'll see you guys over there.